I would love for you to share your story, because your past is actually crazy, and to see who you are now and create the impact that you have in people's lives. Like, you would never think that somebody that came from Compton would be sitting here right now and leading the way you do.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. So there's actually a scripture in the Bible that says, despise not small beginnings. So when we were young, we had 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment in Compton, California. But that was one challenge. The other challenge was my father was struggling with alcoholism, and that my mother worked at Winchell's Donut Shop with a 6th grade education. So we had people that were cramped and crowded with no real foundation and really no way out. So we weren't young talking about going to Harvard or Yale. No, we were like talking about don't go to jail. That's what we used to talk about a lot, and things like that. But I really found strength in education. The teachers in my schools really saw my charisma and my energy, and man, they went after me. Like, I can think of even my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Cook, just really challenged me that I was something special. And then my next teacher, Mrs. Sullivan, in 4th grade. So it was really my teachers that really helped get me on the straight and narrow. And then we started going to church after that.
What do you think made you so special and made you stand out?
I think that everybody is special. I think that, to be a celebrity means to be celebrated. And so I think that everybody is a celebrity, but not everybody's celebrated. So I think that God gave everybody some type of secret sauce. And my secret sauce, I was fortunate enough to discover what that is and was, cultivate it, and then take it to the world.
I love that. Where did this come from? Did it come from like church, that desire to want to help? Or was it something that since you were little that you already had it in you?
Yeah, so to me it was innate, where if I saw like a person trying to get across the street, like an older person, and we were in a car, even when I was real young, my mother says, I would say, Mom, do you think we should help them across the street? So I was already thinking that way.
Okay.
And then when I started to go to church and found out this whole thing about the Jesus style, that he went about doing good and he was healing people that were in trouble, I really started to go that way. Not so much the way of just religion, but the way of Jesus Christ, on how he humbled himself to help other people. And then I was very influenced by Mother Teresa. Man, I read a book about her life when I was only 16, and I got all transformed by reading about Mother Teresa going out and helping all the orphans. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and with leprosy.
Yes. Amazing. She was not, as you're saying, she was not afraid of anybody. And I think that's how all 3 of us are, that I love the underdog. I love the challenge person. I love it when people say you're done, because you're never done till God says you're done.
Absolutely.
I love that you say that, and I can relate to that so much. Because, I was the troubled child. I was the one always getting, doing something bad, like, or wanting attention. Or when we were taking a nap, I would take the girls' Barbies and dolls, and, but the teachers still loved me.
Yes.
And I was introduced to Christianity at an early age, in the foster care system. The parents my family, the foster parents I had, they were Seventh-day Adventists.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to grow in church, and this is something that I think it's so important, and every child should have in their life.
But that's what we have so much in common. When you think about you being in the foster care system, and then kind of being shuttled around, it's not like you first found one family, and then oh my gosh, then I found like the home that really sheltered me and strengthened me. It took a while for you to find yourself. But that's also one of the parts of you that I love, because you are feisty. Mostly when I read in the book, like, and we won't get into it today, but after the fool cheated on you, Whoa, bad move, buddy. You cheated on the wrong woman. You know, not only she a Latin woman.
Was it the blue man?
All I got to tell you is that, shoosh. I was like, I'm going to really always play it straight with her.
You know, I just believe like that once that happens, it'll happen again with that same person. You know what I mean? And I just loved myself enough to be able to walk away, you know?
Yeah. So, but can I tell you what I mean by all that?
Yeah.
Is that I think that sometimes when people are compassionate and we're loving and we decide to serve people, doesn't mean we're a pushover. Mm-hmm. So all three of us that are talking today, we're not pushovers, and neither was Christ. So we're not pushovers. In fact, we're bold as lions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when the three of us have a tendency. I'm speaking for the three of us without really speaking with context. But making the hard stuff look easy, it's as if you never did anything at all. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people who already see us in a successful position don't really understand how hard it was to make it look easy.
Yes.
And a lot of people just don't think you did anything because you made it look so easy. Mm-hmm. And that's been my experience. Mine is not, I've been blessed with, parents who died married, 55 years of marriage.
Yeah.
But man, I'm on my fifth life. I was supposed to die 5 other times in serious tragic situations. And I realized I'm here for a reason, just like Moses was supposed to die. And I just take on the God complex. And after all, he asks us to be like him. So people might say, yeah, you think you're God. I go, I'm not that I'm thinking I'm God. I'm thinking I'm doing God's work on your behalf. And then that's when they shut up.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that I'm willing to go through a lot of pain and heartache. Only joys I really get are meeting people like you. But then again, I had to do the hard stuff, which is build a radio station so that I can even meet people like you too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm really honored to be in your presence, and I realized how difficult it was to be in the room with you guys. It took all this.
And thank you for giving us all a voice, you know, and that's why I love coming here and interviewing amazing people. And my question to you is, what do you wish is something that they would have taught you at an early age when you were struggling as a child?
Yeah, I wish they would have taught me some of the tools, like, as we get older and we start to get, as Carol Dweck says, a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Mm-hmm. I thought we just had to be just stuck in the way we were. So I remember my mother saying, and she wasn't trying to be mean, but what she used to say to us is basically, this is how life is. And so one time we went up to this place called Big Bear Mountain in Southern California, and we were watching people ski. And, we just were trying to take a family trip and, in our crowded little Volkswagen with 7 people in it, which is really illegal to drive that way. And we were watching these people ski, and my sister, who was already 12, said, Mom, how come we can't ski? And my mom just lectured her. She said, people like us don't ski. And so my mother had a fixed mindset. So in my growth, I wish that my parents would have known more to say, no. People like us do ski. We just don't ski now. But we're going to get there.
Absolutely. I remember I grew up in something very similar, and I remember my foster dad, I told him, I think I was like 7 or 8, I was like, I gotta go to Disney World. And he looks at me, he's like, we're never going to Disney World.
Wow.
And I remember just being like, and funny thing is, I ended up living in Orlando, and I used to skip school to go to Disney.
Yes. So there's a children's book that they have this saying that you get what you get and don't get upset. And so many people are living like that you get what you get, don't get upset. But that's where, again, I'm so proud of you, that you are breaking borders, boundaries, restrictions, limitations, and no, we are breaking through.
Absolutely.
We don't live normal lives.
My favorite word happens to be no. When somebody tells me no, That's a hell yes.
So what's your favorite word?
I just want to say that she's had to tell guys that a lot.
Good answer. It's funny because her favorite word is no, and my favorite word is go. So two-letter words. No is definite, and go is rápido.
I like that. I don't have a favorite word yet, but I might get one by the end of the week. But I just know she's told a lot of people no. Can I have your number? No. Can
I sit next to you?
Can I sit next to you? No.
What would you tell people that have these limiting beliefs, and how can they break through those barriers that are keeping them stuck?
Yeah. I think one thing is that don't put yourself down, because there's a reason you have those limiting beliefs. So part of it may be environment. Part of it could be lack of education, lack of knowing, lack of understanding. Hosea 4:6 in the Bible says, "For my people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge." The word destroyed there in the Hebrew means you are unraveling slowly. So when you start seeing me spit these Bible verses, so my doctorate is in world religion and my master's is in counseling and therapy. So I went to 7 years of school to pay attention to things like this. But I think that a lot of people, they just don't know any better. So don't put yourself down for not knowing better. But now it's time to get an aha moment.
Absolutely.
And when you get that aha moment, then you got to say, okay, now it's time. Let's go. And I think all three of us at this desk have had that aha moment time.
Absolutely.
How would you tell someone how to find that aha moment? Because you're not aware of what you don't know. And you don't know that you don't know something, right? And there's a lot of people out there that I'll even, start a conversation with them and they'll be like, so what do you do? Or what are you into? Or I'm like, oh, personal development, transformational, emotional intelligence. Do you know who Tim Storey is? Do you know who Tony Robbins is? And they're like, I don't know anything about that. They're 40, they're 50, they're 60.
Yes.
It blows my mind because, obviously we're in this world, so everything, it comes easy to us, right? But I'm not saying that everything comes easy to us, but I mean like the information and the speakers and like we know these events and like how to get that mindset of thriving. How do you tell someone or how do you support someone in helping them find that aha moment or finding people like us?
Okay, so you definitely have to step out of your current surroundings. So I'll give you a funny story. So when we were kids, during trick or treat, Halloween, we figured out you could go to the rich neighborhood and get bigger candies. Okay? So let's say I was like 9, but there was a kid that was 16, and he piled in about 5 of us, and we went to what we called the rich neighborhood. Okay, they had like better outfits than us, but the other thing is
costumes, fancy costumes,
fancy costumes, right? But they had big Snickers bars and big, Milky Ways, and in our neighborhood they didn't really have that much, and so I thought, wow, man, these rich people, they got all the big stuff. But you guys, this is so funny. So later in life, I decided I'm going to take a drive to what we thought was the rich neighborhood from where I used to live. It was literally only 2.5 miles away. So what I thought was such a long journey to the rich neighborhood was only 2.5 miles away. So some people that are watching right now and listening, you are so close. Just get out of your neighborhood.
Get out of your neighborhood, open up your mind, expand your mind.
Yes.
And if you're not happy with where you're at, you have Google. You have YouTube. All you have to place in that search button is, how can I transform my life? How can I have a better life? And you'll have a whole bunch of videos and books,
Yes.
And like Tony Robbins says, it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness.
It's super, super, super good. And I think to add to that, we have to be tired of being tired. And I feel that that's why people are afraid to sit in silence. They have the TV on constantly. They have music on constantly. They're on TikTok, Instagram. When I'm coaching people, I challenge them to sit in silence because they don't want to hear what they're really thinking. They don't want to really take inventory of their real surroundings.
Absolutely.
But man, sit in silence for about 3 days, and believe me, you'll get tired of being tired of being this way, that way, the other way, and you will then decide to step out and step in.
Can I share a perspective of similar to yours but different? If you can understand. My father was a rags to riches story, 7th grade education, Cuban refugee. You know, we're, the three brothers are like, we got an education, but I can't believe Dad made it.
Yeah.
But my father would say these things that are very similar to, you learned it very young, which I'm going to go to the neighborhood to get the bigger Hershey. My father used to say, mijo, my son, the selling of something only has to add zeros to your thinking. The selling is the same. It's who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to sell those raffle tickets, why don't you sell them by the 10 and only talk to people who have $10?
Yes.
Because why do the same pitch 10 times to sell 10 tickets when you can sell them each by the 10? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I applied it, and I was always top 3, top 4 in my school in raffle tickets. And one day, without realizing, after years of that, check out this story because it changed everybody's life.
Yes.
And I had no idea I was doing it. I was in an elevator pitching the raffle ticket. Man, would you like to buy a raffle ticket? It was 8:30 in the morning. Everybody's on the routine with their coffee in the morning. I'm in 9th grade. I'm in an elevator. And the man behind me in the elevator says, hey, kid, don't you know there's a no soliciting sign outside in the lobby? And I turned to the guy just out of the gut of my, he goes, do you know who I am, sir? Mm-hmm. Just to delay the response, right? I get out on the first freaking door. The door opens, I get out. So now I'm paranoid. So I'm going up and down, but not in order, so he can't catch me again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, can you believe it? God said he wanted me to do this. And of course, the penthouse is at the very end. It's now like 11:30, maybe 12 in the afternoon. And our bus drove us to downtown to the top sellers of raffle tickets. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm on the $10 trip. Check this out. It changes the entire community of people. I opened the door, like I always did, cold called the door. I just opened the door, and it's the same lady I was talking to in the elevator. And she goes, and it's too late. I said, oh, you're going to buy the raffle ticket? She goes, hey, kid, come in here. Oh, and she goes, I'm going to make up the name. Margaret, shut the door. And I go into his office, and he's sitting there, Magnate penthouse, and he's really cool. It's the biggest building in downtown at the time, one Biscayne Tower, but it's tiny compared to the buildings today. And then he leans out and he goes, I'm calling security. You're out of here right now. I already told you there's no soliciting in the building. I go, sir, why don't you just reply to what I asked you? Do you know who I am? And he goes, go ahead, tell me. I go, I'm a man for others, which is the lemma, the mantra of Belen Jesuit Preparatory School in Miami, which is what the raffle tickets were for, to build a new school. We were basically a refugee school, but the oldest school in all of America.
Yes.
Because 1528 in Cuba, so it's older than Harvard and Yale, for Christ's sake. So he leans back like that, and this big emotional, his face turns red, and I go, sir, remember, I'm 6 foot tall and 168 pounds. I looked at him like this, and I put my point in my chest, and I was bravado. I think I was cool as hell. And he goes, I went to a Jesuit school in Ohio. I go, and you're giving me grief. Buy a book of raffle tickets and I'm out of here. He throws a $1 bill. Now my father comes in.
Yeah.
And I go, $1? You think they sent me here to downtown to sell you a $1 ticket? You either give me $10 tickets or I take this whole desk and throw it upon you, because now I'm meant for myself. Don't insult me like that. Guess what? He brings out the $10. I take out my pockets. I have no more tickets. I already sold out. Mm-hmm. And I go, see, I can't even sell you tickets, but I'll get some idiot downstairs friend of mine to sell you $10. So I tell that person, Eddie, go up there and sell the guy $10 tickets. This story is, I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling.
Let's go so we can get started to the
He goes up there and sends a $10 ticket. 6 months later, intercom, after the morning prayer, after everything, come to my office, a disciplinarian, him and I go, oh, we're been busted. People looking through the little windows of homeroom door, 9th grade, or be marched the gauntlet to the principal's office. They want to know, do you know who this person is? I deny, guy. I didn't sell the ticket, so I'm denying it. Deny. Eddie comes in there with that face of he ratted me out. Like, you ratted me out? Bro, I sold the ticket. You guys are now suspended. I'm calling your parents. Go to the auditorium. You'll be there for 2 weeks. I go, I'm going to flunk out. I'm barely a C student. They walk us down with the hardcore disciplinarian who was Father Izquierdo, hardcore Jesuit, going down the gauntlet. Everybody's looking at us. And when they open up the door, 50 people, press, New York Times, Miami Herald, Miami Times, the man standing there with a $300,000 check. And today that land is now Belen Jesuit Preparatory School. He completed the land purchase for us to collateralize it to build the Belen High School today, where thousands have graduated from because of that one moment in the elevator.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
And it blew me away.
Is.
So guess what? In 9th grade, if that happened, and God wished that upon me through that sacrifice, I wasn't suspended, by the way.
But that's because his intentions were clear.
So
Yeah.
then
You know
what
what I mean? And that's the power of like intention when you're
So
doing
naturally, at 40, I told you before we started today, people don't even realize that effort to build Master Academy, which is that big building you saw coming into this island, was my second high school.
Wow.
Get it?
Yes.
Remember I told you that his dad built this entire place?
Of course. And the boldness to feel like you had a knowing that you should do something. And I see this in all of us at the table. I think a revelation of something leads to conviction, and then that conviction leads to action. And I definitely see that in your life, that you got a revelation of who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do. That led to conviction, and now you're taking massive action.
Absolutely. I love that you said earlier, that people need to get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
100%.
And that's how I got into personal development 10 years ago, not knowing a thing about it. And I remember basically after leaving my ex-husband, I was partying, I was drinking, I was hanging out with the wrong people. And I did that for 2 years. Sometimes I couldn't get out of bed. I'm just like looking at my ceiling, and I lost my identity because I was with this person at such a young age for 10 years, and one day I was just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired.
Yes.
I was tired of the depression. I was tired of, fake people. I was tired of just the way I was feeling. It was so awful. And I went to the mirror and I looked at myself and I talked to myself out loud. I said, "Are you proud of the woman you've become?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No." And it's funny because I learned something from that moment. When you want the truth and you're trying to get advice, don't go to anybody. Go to the mirror, talk to yourself, and ask yourself the question. You can't lie to yourself.
That's
True. You can't lie to your soul. You know the answer, you know? And so once I asked myself that, I'm not proud of myself, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Within that day or a couple of days, there was an ad on Facebook that said, "Reignite your life, your finances, and your future. Free ticket." So I hit up a girlfriend of mine. I think you know her, Alexi Panos, Preston Smiles.
Yes.
Well, at the time, me and Alexis, we knew each other from New York City. And I said, "Alexi, do you know who this is?" And I think Lewis Howe's career was starting. Her career was starting.
Kind of at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. And she goes, "There's a free ticket to Peak Potentials with T. Harv Eker." And she's like, "I've never heard of that, but if there's one positive thing that comes out of it, it's a win-win situation." I booked my flight, I booked my ticket. And that's where my transformation started.
I love that. So...
Wait, guys, sorry, but I have to do the standing ovation.
Listen, I've never seen that in my life, but it worked.
It worked.
I may want that again someday, but don't do it right this second. But by the end of this...
Only once a show.
I'm telling you. But I think that when somebody has a setback, that there are steps to have this comeback. And number one is what happened to you. You become awake. And to become awake is you become conscious. A lot of people are sleepwalking for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, almost their entire life. So you have to become awake. Secondly, you have to take inventory. That's the most difficult thing for people to do, is to look at their life and say, truly, where am I? It's almost like having your body scanned to see if there's something wrong with your body, you got to take inventory.
Absolutely.
And that's when you said you looked in the mirror, you took inventory. So you become awake, you take inventory. Number 3 is you have to partner with the right people. And that's what you're saying. Sometimes you need to show up to something like Epic Talks, even if you're not used to it. You need to partner with the right people that are speaking a different language.
Absolutely. I love that so much. You talk a lot about, you were talking with Oprah about this on her show, about turning your setbacks into comebacks.
Yes.
Give us the little recipe, the secret sauce, like you call it, on how to do that.
So I think that in life, many people start with momentum and some people do not. I know some people that have never had momentum in their whole life. But when you get momentum...
Do you think it's because they choose not to?
It's 2 things. I think sometimes they choose not to, but sometimes they just got hit so hard, so fast, and did not know how to get back up and get into that flow of momentum. Okay? So when you have momentum, many times a life interruption can hit. That could be your parents' divorce. Maybe you got molested as a child. Maybe you were ill as a child. So there's a life interruption. Maybe one of your parents died. Life interruption. An interruption is a disturbance that we did not expect to take place.
Absolutely.
Okay? This is what's happened to this world. So many disturbances that we did not expect. Okay? So now, what are you going to do? Most people, when they have a setback, they sit in the setback. You guys are both going to love this. They settle in the setback. And the third thing, they cement themselves in the setback. So think about it. How many people
Say that
we know,
again. Say that again.
Some people sit. Like, okay,
Yeah.
my husband left me. I found out he cheated.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just sit there and this is my damn life and I will never trust people again. That's sitting in a setback. Settling is you decide to become a discount version of yourself. So now I'm going to blow you away with a little bit of Tim Storey verbiage. Most people are a discount version of themselves. The expectation for them is really high, really grand. It's really beyond. Because the utmost God does not create almost children. But they have allowed themselves to become a discount version of themselves by sitting and then settling. This is my life, settling.
Comfort zone.
Comfort zone, and then it leads to the cementing of don't mess with me. I don't want to go to Epic Talks. I know what's going to happen there. It's going to be a bunch of good-looking people that are going to brag about how great their life is. My life is not great. What you've done is you have cemented yourself in the setback.
Wow. So basically, you took yourself to the grave and you're not there yet.
100%. So we got to bring on the tools. So the tools, sometimes we need a doggone jackhammer.
Absolutely.
It's like when they're breaking up the concrete. There are people that I work with at the highest level, the biggest celebrities in the world. I took a jackhammer to their life. And I remember talking to one celebrity that we all know, and the manager said, nobody has ever talked to him this way. And then the celebrity said, I'm going to throw you up against the effing wall, Storey, if you say that one more time to me. And I said it to him again. I said, you don't have the guts to get back up. You don't have the guts. And he started crying.
Wow.
It was that moment I had in the office. Hey, man, I'm 6 foot tall. You know, you're insulting me. $1 just to get rid of me. You know, how dare you?
So I wanna learn more about this. So what are like the right thing to say with a person like that? Because there are some friends that, well, now acquaintances, because I just not that I give up on them, it's just that I try, like, you know, and they're still in the same rut, in the same thing from 3, 4, 7, 8 years ago. I'm like, when are you going to say enough is enough?
Yes, I agree. So number one, we have to come from a place of compassion because we don't know how bad their injury was. And this is why I have a problem with so many amateur life coaches out there. Because there's a lot of people that have learned maybe part of a system and they're trying to life coach people, but they don't have the compassion and the empathy of understanding that the client that they're working with may have really gone through a lot of crap.
Talk about principles, baby. If you don't have principles to stay into that one, you're watching a person slowly wither away, someone who is brilliant, you know? So, of course, my whole life is about understanding people like you and getting into your head as you speak to see if I can get it, you know? And I always want to get it because I always assume that in the end, it's loving her, loving you, loving myself enough to continue loving you. And I want to be there for you if you ever have a problem. I don't want to be here to have a problem. And this is the only way I can do it is through what I do naturally, which is having you guys share yourselves over the airwaves, because I know whoever's going to listen to this, by the way, the recording will be tomorrow on WSQFradio.com. You'll come to this recording, and you might not know me personally, you might not know anybody here in the room personally, but please listen to what we spoke about today. I can't thank you enough for being there, and I can't thank Melissa enough for bringing you, because it's so wonderful.
What a privilege. So, Melissa, when you think about this, so the principles that you got in your spirit and you learned led to this plan that is happening in your life. But when I look at you, the plan for your life is so gigantic. So let's break down something real quick. For God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask or imagine. Okay? So when you were a child dreaming, you were dreaming big enough. But it's nothing compared to the way you're dreaming now. And part of that is because of the principles that are in your soul, in your spirit. And those principles are manifesting this plan. See, people are trying to manifest. Manifest what? You got to manifest with action. God idea and with action, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have the right principles and you have the right plan. And then let me give you the last one. You got to have persistence. Sheesh. And that's where people like us, we don't quit. We get back up.
Absolutely. And that's happened so many times in my life. And I kind of laugh when things don't go my way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I look at God, I'm like, all right, this is a lesson I'm supposed to learn. So what do you want me to do now? I literally have a conversation out loud like that with him, you know? And then I ask him, you know, sometimes I wake up, well, he wakes me up, or my angels at 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. And I know it's a message from them or from him. Yes. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to tell me? The other day, this happened to me like 2 times already last week. And he tells me something and I write it. And when I wake up in the morning, I don't remember. Yes. And when I go on my notes, I'm like,
that's super powerful. And what happens is that once we've been through something that's devastating that we could work our way through, we now have a system on how to get through other things. So that's why I don't trip really on anything. And I'm not nervous about things because I have a system. And that's what happened to David when he faced Goliath. He said, okay, there's a big giant. He said, but I have a system. I killed a lion. I killed a bear. I could take him down too. That's a system.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Is that powerful though?
Yes, absolutely.
We got a system.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a system.
And then he hit him right between the eyes.
Bam.
You know, it's funny that you say that because what I'm presenting tonight to Epic Talks is to the community. It's something completely new. Nobody, not even my team knows about it yet. Yes. And I've been having a couple of meetings about this last week, and I was nervous. I was shaking in the meeting. One of the meetings was like 4 or 5 hours. And then when we met the second time, another 4 or 5 hours, big whiteboard, we're writing stuff. And I was like, you know, this is going to change everything that I've been creating and doing. He's like, yeah. It's time to pivot.
Are you glad that I'm going to be there on this Epic Talks?
You have no idea.
It's not by accident.
And it's crazy because I was telling, he knows who you are. I was telling him, I'm like, how is it that synergistically? Yes. Right. I just met him. Yes. Right. Through a mutual friend. He's been a speaker at my Epic Talks event. He was having a meeting with Tony Robbins, and he's good friends with Tony. He's part of Tony's Platinum membership, part of Myron Goldman, and Russell Brunson, all that. So he's in that community. And he was having a meeting with them, and they're like, well, why aren't you doing this? And he's like, Melissa, you were the first name that came to my mind.
Wow.
And I was like, what? You know, and this is a guy that took his company from 10 million to 75 million in 4 years.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, for me, I'm like, okay.
Can I tell you one reason I think it's happening? So, and this happened with you and all your property that you own. I mean, because I rolled up to this property and you like own all these buildings. Congratulations.
It's just one building. You
Hey,
give too much credit.
At least buy me a taco.
He just sold a $9 million house.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him, all acting all humble.
Yeah.
But here's what happens. When you build your spot, God will put the spotlight on the spot. So there's so many people are trying to get known, trying to get famous, trying to get themselves out there. But what I'm watching in you is you're building your spot, and God has put the spotlight on your spot. So that's why you're seeing women, men, young, old, all ages coming towards you because the spotlight is on your spot. So that's one reason you're seeing so many people want to get involved.
Absolutely. And it's exciting and it's scary, but I made that decision in that moment.
Yes.
I told him I'm doing this because I'm scared.
Yes.
And I haven't been scared in a really long time.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yes.
every time I've taken that leap of faith and I've gotten out of my comfort zone, I win.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you can ask my team over here. They saw me start like epic talks and like pivot little by little. And I'm at a point right now where I'm just like, okay, this needs to go to the next level.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And once I made that decision, literally, like you popped into my life, Ryan pops into my life, and all these other amazing people that just want to be part of the community.
But it's a beautiful time. And as you know, that when God's favor is upon you, it's his super on our natural. So that even though we are a little afraid and out of our own comfort zone, you know that the hand of God is on you. And he is the one that is empowering you. Because you think you're doing something now, wait till it gets to the crazy level. And that's going to be a beautiful thing to watch.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm excited. Can you give me a moment where, you know, obviously you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Where was that moment that you were like right here, and then all of a sudden your career just pivoted?
I would say that what happened is that Quincy Jones, the billionaire Quincy Jones, talked to Oprah Winfrey 9 times about me, about 17 years ago. He talked to her about 9 different times over a period of 2 years and said, you've never met anybody like this, so don't think this is just another guest I'm trying to get you in. This guy is a present-day Nelson Mandela. And Oprah just told me, I thought, okay, I'm sure he's good. I saw some footage on you. I'm like, oh, my God, the guy has got charisma. He can speak. Let's put him on. And then her executive producer, who's my great, great friend, that will probably be there with me tomorrow on Wednesday, is that it took a minute because Oprah was moving so fast, but Quincy kept coming at her and saying, you don't understand. You and him are supposed to be connected. And so when I got the invitation to come to Oprah Winfrey's house to hang out with her, which was many, many years ago, we hit it off like brother and sister. And then she said to me, Tim, I believe that God has told me to open up my world to you. And could you imagine the world she opened up to me? Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you, Oprah.
Thank you very much. I was doing pretty doggone well, but that was a whole different story right there.
Wow.
Because she didn't stop. It opened up the biggest companies in the world, the biggest speaking engagements in the world, traveling with Steve Harvey to 20 cities, all these different talk show things. Now I'm working in movies. I'm working in Broadway plays. A lot of that was one connection to that lady.
That's amazing. And I love this right now. Tell me, how did you meet Quincy Jones?
Quincy Jones, that was a cool story where Kim Kardashian's agent, who's a super, super cool guy, I've been life coaching him and friends with him for about 27 years, and he runs all things Kardashian with Kylie and everybody. So that says a lot, right? As far as he knows how to build an empire. He was talking to Quincy about a project and brought me up, and Quincy wanted to meet me. So that was the first introduction, which was many, many, many years ago. And then Quincy then said to me, hey, can we do something like every Thursday at 4? Just come over and let's just chat. Mm-hmm. And that was wild because, you guys, to be honest, I didn't have every Thursday at 4 open. I was traveling, but I told my assistant, I don't care if I'm supposed to be in Cincinnati, cancel it, because I'm going to do every Thursday at 4. And this lasted for about 4 months.
Wow.
And man, he just mentored me. And his mentoring was like, get up, man, get up, get out. You're the voice for us. Wow. And he's the one that gave me the name, the voice. He said, you are the voice of inspiration to our generation. And people listened. I really saw it in all communities. And, I was already working with big celebrities, but it really exploded at that time.
Yeah, the quantum leap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good way of saying it.
Yeah, quantum leap.
Yeah.
Good way of saying it.
It's really impressive.
Absolutely. What do you think has been your greatest lesson from Quincy?
Greatest lesson from Quincy Jones is to be my unique self. And he was talking about working with Michael Jackson and how the reason the album Thriller was so good is that Michael kept challenging everything people were throwing at him. And they were saying, no, do this song this way. And Michael kept challenging it. And Quincy said, shh, you guys keep quiet. Go with what he's saying. This guy has instincts that are beyond. Mm-hmm. And so Quincy said to me, a guy like you got a lot of charisma. You're coming from the inner city. You got a way about you. People want to be around you. People are going to try to micromanage you. Mm-hmm. He said, do not let that happen. You got to pay attention to your own uniqueness. And that's how I roll. Like, I don't study a bunch of other speakers because I don't want to talk like them.
No.
If I study someone who communicates, I study comedians because they have the best timing.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't study a lot of these guys.
And comedians are fearless, man.
They're fearless.
They don't know if their joke's going to land or not, and they go ahead anyway, live, improv. Bah, bah.
Yeah, I respect the guys that are out there talking, but I'm not. I mean, I'm playing at a whole different level.
You're one of a kind.
And I think one reason is because I stayed with my own uniqueness on how to communicate with people and how to get into people's spirits. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is kind of like your own moonwalk.
Yeah, that is my own moonwalk, and I love that you bring that up because Michael Jackson started studying the moonwalk at 10. Barry Gordy told me that story, and so did Suzanne DePass, who was my manager for 15 years, who was at one time the president of Motown. Michael started the moonwalk at 10 and did not break it out till he was 25.
Wow.
So for 15 years, he studied the moonwalk before he broke it out. Wow. So each one of us right now, we should be studying our own moonwalk that we're about to break out 15 years later.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that powerful?
That is so amazing.
That deserved another standing ovation, but I kept my promise.
You kept your promise, mijo. But, so I got a lot of moonwalks in me, but man, I'm just letting them marinate.
What's up?
I'm just getting started. I got a lot of them too.
Oh, you got them, believe me.
Yeah. And so you're friends, you're still friends obviously with Oprah Winfrey.
I would consider one of my best friends.
We're
amazing. Very close. We do a lot of projects together. I get to go to all her fine dinners and eat with all these fine people. And it's pretty mind-boggling to be like sitting there and then Julia Roberts just comes up to you on the side. Oh, my God, I love your work. So, yeah, it's a trippy world.
That's amazing. I love Oprah.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't? What has been your greatest lesson from her?
Oprah is... number one of the coolest people I know. I get to speak to her staff. I got to do the Oprah cruise. I got to travel with her on the road speaking, do other projects with her, be her friend, dance with her. She likes to dance. My biggest lesson from her is she listens. She's very good at listening. If you tell her a story, she's listening. That's why she's a walking library. Because think of all the people she's interviewed, she actually listened.
Yeah.
And she knows how to retain information. But one of her superpowers, she's a great listener.
I love that. And so what is is there something that you guys are planning to do together or work on something together?
I think it's just going to continue to evolve. I think, she's given me a lot of wisdom and insight about what I should do next. I discussed this Broadway play that I'm working on that I think is super, super cool. And probably one of the biggest rappers of all time said yes to do the music. And then one of our best athletes of all time has said yes to give me the money. So let's see what we do with that. But I passed that through Oprah. She liked the idea. And she's wholeheartedly behind what I'm doing next. You guys, I'm about to do a talk show at a big, big level. And so my agents are very strong. The company I'm going with is very strong. So I want to be like a cool, hip Larry King. No one will be Larry King because that guy was dope and he was my friend. We used to eat breakfast at Nate and Al's in Beverly Hills. But that's where I'm headed next, is I'm going to do my own talk show starting next year.
You want to simulcast from Blink Radio?
Yes, we're going to go straight out of Key Biscayne. Yes. WSQF 94.5.
Well, you blink once, I said it. Blink twice.
Exactly.
You missed it.
Do you know, maybe you can't share this, but do you know the title of it? Or?
Well, I think it's... They'll probably do a play on my name because it's Tim Storey.
Yeah.
So there's so much things you could do with that, like, of
course.
real story or true story or.
Yeah.
But no, I want to use the Larry King format, and others have tried it. Piers Morgan, other people, Tavis Smiley, who did a great job with that. But I think I'm going to bring my own unique juice. And I also think I can get to people like a Kanye West and others who will not talk to someone else, but they'll talk to me out of friendship. So, but the whole squad is there. We just had a meeting yesterday.
Nice.
And I'm excited about it. But I'm excited about it to serve people. That's what I'm into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in LA? Or
it's going to be all over the world. Come on now.
Okay. I didn't know where the studio was going to be at, and
No, the studio will either be New York or LA.
Okay.
But it's in the world.
I love that. How many people do you want to impact moving forward? I know you've already impacted millions, but what's the plan on,
I think about more people like you. The stage that I'm in, not the age, the stage is I'm playing with house money. It's like going to the Wynn Hotel and I got stacks of chips. I'm not even looking for more chips. I want to see how I could help you, how I could serve you. So I'm not even thinking about stacks of chips and more stacks of chips. I'm playing with house money. So I'm not even thinking about the number of people or being the biggest. I see people like yourself and I say, what the heck? She's got it.
Thank you.
How do we get her in with the right people to do the right things? That's more how I think.
Thank you. I'm all about that as well.
Yes.
My purpose and passion in life is to help people tap into their greatness. And a lot of people don't believe that greatness exists within them.
Yes.
Limiting beliefs, setbacks, right? So how do you tell them to go from that setback to the comeback? What's that sauce that you would tell them, listen, this is exactly how you're going to do it?
So what I like to do, like if somebody's in a setback, I like them to be around us. So let's say if we had 3 people in a setback in the studio, I guarantee you their lives would be at least challenged today in a positive way just by being around the energy that's here.
Absolutely.
So I purposely have always taken my kids around me everywhere, my nephews and nieces with me everywhere, because I want them to just feel the energy, right?
Absolutely.
To be
it's
around
all about
it.
energy.
Because a lot of it is the conversations they're going to hear and the observations of things they're going to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a great teacher always says, great teachers don't necessarily teach you anything. They ask you to sit next to them and see for yourself. And that's powerful.
I like that, actually.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening right now, we're at WSQF 94.5 FM, and it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what your setback is.
Right.
If a child from Compton, coming from nothing, lived in a 2-bedroom house with 7 people, a foster child, a Cuban immigrant that,
first generation
had a
Cuban
head
immigrant.
injury. If we can create
On his
greatness in our
deathbed.
lives, like you can too.
Yes.
And it's all about surrounding yourself with the right tribe, with the right people. And whatever your environment is, make sure that when you're in it, it feels good. And if it doesn't feel good, walk away. It's that simple.
100%.
So think about the conversations that you're having with your family. Think about the conversations that you're having with your friends. Think about your environments that you're in. And a lot of people, they're like, well, I can't get out of it. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You're just one decision away. It's up to you. This morning I was listening to Tony Robbins. Like when I'm getting ready, I like to put motivational videos and listen to them. And he was talking about that. It's just one decision.
Yes.
Either you're going to have that cigarette, or you're not going to have that cigarette, or either you're going to go to bed early, or you're not going to go to bed early.
I think that is
white or black.
the ultimate.
That's simple.
Right there is what you just said, and what he said is that decision, that choice, that selection to just get up, get out of bed, walk. If you have not exercised in a long time, walk 7 houses in your neighborhood and walk back. Day 1.
Absolutely.
And then day 2, walk 9 houses. I like that.
And when you make the decision, when you stick to it, you know what's going to happen? Confidence is going to arise. And when you don't stick to it, depression will take over. Because when you don't stick to what you say you're going to do, what happens? You start doubting yourself, and you're telling your subconscious mind that you're not good enough and that you're not going to stick to your word. And there's nothing worse than letting yourself down.
That's so good. Yes.
So.
My gosh, she's got a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Your mind is not your friend. If it were, you'd have more answers than questions. And don't trust your mind. Feed your mind good stuff,
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that literally came from the bottom of a street, falling out of a truck at 15 miles an hour, smashing my skull. Talk about picking yourself up, man. That's literal. And I had to work on my mind for the entire 1989. That whole year, seeing a shrink, keeping me from falling into depression, keep on realizing, oh my God, I got my faculties. I'm not, oh my God, I'm not paralyzed. I'm not, and just thank God. And then I really got, since I was a Jesuit educated kid, it wasn't that hard to follow the Lord even more. But what fascinates me about you, that I really have a limited belief, I have to confess, being able to repeat the verses of the Bible at the moment I need to, even if it's not, chapter and verse, but just be able to do it is your power. I can't thank you enough for being able to just spit it out like you do. It's fantastic. It really does, because it resonates.
Well, I think that, if you look at most motivators, they're using biblical principles, the good ones.
Yes.
Like they're using Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, if you go even back to Think and Grow Rich. And so there's so much wisdom in the wisdom books. Yeah.
Absolutely. I used to be able to say all the books in the Bible. I used to have a song.
Yes.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, we do.
You still have it in you. So go ahead.
I think so. Okay,
Ladies
ready?
and gentlemen, all the way from Miami.
Wait.
I haven't sang it in like
please.
30 years. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Samuel, First King, Second King, First and Second
That's good.
Chronicles,
You're good.
Ezra,
Keep going.
Nehemiah. Dun, 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 dun.
Keep going.
Dun, 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 dun. Isaiah, Ecclesiastes, no. Anyways, I can't remember.
But listen, that was good. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Now the New Testament. Now the New Testament. Ready?
Okay, here it comes.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Acts sent the letters to the Romans. Dun, 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 dun. Philippians and Ephesians. Dun, 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 dun. First and Second Thessalonians.
Ooh.
First and Second Timothy. Titus and dun, dun, dun.
Whoa, you threw Titus in there. That was
Dun,
good.
dun, dun, the book of Mark, First and Second Peter. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, Revelation.
Yeah.
Wow, what's up?
People all over the world. That was amazing. I've seen amazing things up close in person.
That was tough.
That was one of them. And the judges are scoring now. They're giving that a 9.5.
I can't hold back.
They're giving that a 9.5. People, she has not done this since grade school.
Yeah,
They're giving
pretty
that
much.
a 9.5.
Now I want to go home and look at the Bible and just like sing it and learn it
My
again.
gosh, whew, that was powerful.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I remember doing that in the first men's ministry, men's retreat, where I was a retreatant. Not,
Yes.
I wasn't a brother yet, and I went in there with the desire to stand in front of the church at the end and recite the 10 Commandments in order.
Yes.
And I pulled it off, and I can't do that today.
You get to go home and practice.
Yeah,
now.
I won't set myself up like that because I'll disappoint myself.
Right when I think that I'd seen all her gifts.
Yeah.
No.
Wow, that was very
gosh.
cool, and I'm hearing it for the first time too.
She was rapping too. That
was fantastic.
That was like a rap.
I love it. I love it. Tim, it's been so amazing to have you here. Honestly, like a dream come true for me, you know, and that's the power of believing in yourself and starting something, you know,
Yes.
because if I wouldn't have believed in myself, if I wouldn't have started Epic Talks, if I wouldn't have said yes to the invitation, I'm coming on this radio show, you wouldn't be here.
Yes.
So it's the power of saying yes to your life, yes to yourself, yes to your dreams, and go for it.
I think if anybody's smart, they'll recognize who's next. And so I recognize you're next and you're now. So thank you very much.
Thank
so,
you.
I mean, like when Whitney Houston came up, the great singers that went before her, they recognized what the heck. And so they weren't afraid to just say, just move out of the way, here she comes. So you've got something huge on you. So it's a privilege to be part of what you're doing.
I appreciate
That's
you.
how I see life.
Any final thoughts or words for our audience?
Yes, my final thoughts are get as connected to what you're doing as possible because you have new things coming and we're going to hear about them.
Yes.
And you are training people, you're equipping people, you are networking people, you are building a community that is going to shake the world. And so you guys that are watching and listening, just keep getting connected and staying connected. That's my final notes.
Thank you so much. Manny, thank you so much. All media in the house, thank you so much. I'm not done yet. Give me a second. For those of you listening, if you want to get tapped into this community, if you'd like to listen to Tim's story live tomorrow at Epic Talks, make sure you guys go to www.epictalksmiami.com. You can find out the information there. The title of the theme tomorrow is Uncommon Success. You know, realizing that you do have supernatural success. And
yes.
Tim is going to be sharing his secret sauce tomorrow on stage. And we're just honored and blessed to have you here. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. WSQF 94.5 FM, Key Biscayne Radio.
If you like our programming on WSQF 94.5 in Key Biscayne, you can also hear us very far away nationwide, WSQFradio.com. And if you like our audio files and our subject matter, subscribe to YouTube, Mac on the Rock Rampage. Take care and stay free.